Let me be real honest with you. Some of these handguns look like straight up jokes on paper, strange names, budget price tags, or designs that felt they were pulled from a forgotten prototype drawer. But when the trigger dropped, let's just say Glock owners started scratching their heads. In 2025, a few of these pistols walked in quietly, then outshot, outbuilt, and outlasted some of the industry's biggest names. And the worst part? Most shooters still haven't even heard of them. So today, we're pulling back the curtain. No politics, no sponsor bias, just the raw truth. Because if you're still carrying that same old striker-fired dinosaur, you might just be missing the wildest breakthroughs of the year. This wasn't supposed to be here. I'll be honest, I had zero expectations for the GX4 Carry. Just figured it was another Taurus trying to play catch up in a game it never really dominated, but something changed. It didn't jam, not once in the first 500 rounds. The recoil control, better than half the micro compacts out there. Trigger walls tight, resets short, and for once, it actually feels like a gun you trust outside the range. Most people don't even know this model exists. They hear GX4 and assume it's the same old story. But this extended carry version actually solves the grip issue. No more pinky dangling. It fills the hand just enough without losing concealment. Do you even know what surprised us? It's optics ready, not in a flashy, overpriced way. It just quietly shows up, works, and leaves the bragging to everyone else. Taurus pulled this one off while nobody was watching, and that's exactly why it made this list. Nobody told me this would shoot better than half the guns we hype online. I didn't pick up the F-509 expecting much, just another tactical-looking polymer pistol trying to ride the wave, but the first mag I dumped through it, tight grouping, zero drama, and the slide snapped back like it meant business. I stopped mid-session and just stared at it. This thing's been quietly passing torture tests behind the scenes, dropped, buried, soaked, shot dirty, and it still goes bang every single time. The kind of performance you'd expect from a Glock, but here's the twist. The Effin actually feels better in the hand. Higher bore axis? Maybe, but that trigger, clean break, nice reset, and it doesn't feel like you're dragging a brick through gravel. This pistol lost the U.S. Army contract to the SIG P320, but some folks in certain law enforcement circles still prefer the F-509 for its durability and out-of-the-box performance. That should tell you something, right? And just when you think Effin brought the heat, wait till you see what Beretta's sneaking next. It's smaller, smarter, and somehow still under the radar. The Beretta APX A1 Carry didn't just show up late to the party, it walked in quiet, no flash, no crowd, and barely a whisper from the gun world. And that's kind of what makes it interesting. When Beretta first rolled out the original APX series, people weren't impressed. The full size looked odd, the grip angle was off for many shooters, and the trigger was mushy. So Beretta went back to the drawing board, and this carry model, way better. They trimmed it down, cleaned up the frame, made the slide easier to rack, and dropped a far crisper trigger. It's not trying to copy Glock or ride the Hellcat wave. It's slimmer, simpler, and much easier to conceal than people realize. And you know what? It actually shoots smoother than a few pistols twice its price. But here's the real talk. Should you get it? If you want something that just works, with no social media hype, no unnecessary attention, it's a damn solid option. Just don't expect to flex this one at the range. Now this one, most folks just scroll right past. You won't hear it in every gun shop convo, and it's definitely not trending on your feed. But the SAR9 Compact, it's slowly becoming one of those guns that people buy once and never shut up about. Turkey's been pushing solid stuff lately, but Sarsilmas has been doing it longer than most think, and this compact version of the SAR9 is way better than the price tag suggests. Solid grip texture, a surprisingly crisp trigger, and recoil that's tamed like a much heavier pistol. What's wild is that you'll feel like you're shooting a Glock 19 with better ergonomics, and that ain't just talk. I've seen guys dump full max through this and turn around like, wait, this is what brand? Durability tests? It passed NATO standards. Comfort? Fits like a damn glove. And guess what? This might be the best kept budget secret of 2025. Now, coming in at number 11 is a full-size surprise that wasn't meant for civilian carry, but got tuned down for the F-Series. If you're the type who still thinks this one's just for women, you've clearly never shot it. The PDP F-Series might be marketed for smaller hands, but I know dudes with gorilla grips who sold their Glocks the moment they tried this. That's the punchline here. Walther didn't make a weaker gun. They made a better one. It's got this insane slide geometry. Easy to rack, but somehow still tight and deliberate. The trigger feels like it was tuned with a scalpel, and the recoil impulse, smooth. Like unnaturally smooth. It doesn't flip, doesn't bite, and it just stays flat and runs flat. You squeeze it fast, it wants to stay right where it is. The grip texturing's not aggressive, but damn, it locks you in. Holster's easy, optics ready, clean lines, no nonsense. It's the kind of gun people ignore until they shoot it, and then it messes with their whole setup. You don't need to change your opinion now, but you might once you see what's about to walk in next. One guy told me he carried this thing every day until the day he needed it. Not at the range, not on some fantasy battlefield. It was 11:47 p.m. behind a gas station dumpster. He didn't even get the gun fully out before it fired. That's how light that trigger wall is. He still carries the scar on his thigh, and the Max 9 still in evidence lockup. And here's the twist. He swore he'd carry the exact same pistol again. That's the weird part about the Ruger Max 9. It's got just enough refinement to fool you into thinking it's soft. Slim profile, optic ready, decent price, smooth lines. But it's twitchy, reactive. You move fast, it moves with you, sometimes faster than you'd want. For deep concealment, it's almost perfect, but it demands a steady hand, a clean draw, and zero nervous energy. This ain't one for shaky adrenaline dumps. You trust it or you don't carry it at all. And after this, we're stepping into a territory where price doesn't mean a damn thing anymore. Something's off about this gun, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's too good. Like, pick it up and it doesn't make sense kind of good. The Canik Mete MC9 came in quiet. No flashy ad campaigns, no overhyped launch, and yet it's showing up in places it shouldn't. Holsters that used to carry Glocks, range bags of folks who swore by SIGs. I had one guy say it felt wrong. Wrong that something this affordable was outperforming pistols he trusted for years. You expect compromises at this price. You don't expect a trigger that resets like a tuned 1911. You don't expect reliability that eats any ammo you throw at it. And you sure as hell don't expect accuracy this sharp from a subcompact. But it's here and it's real. A Turkish-built carry gun that's quietly rewriting what value even means. People laughed at it until they shot it, and then the laughter just ceased. You might want to laugh too, but I'd hold off because what comes next is going to make this one feel tame. The Delta Gen 2 just leveled up. Arex now offers a threaded barrel tactical variant straight from the factory, priced around $545. That means more than loud. You're buying suppressor-ready capability without needing a gunsmith. In 2025, the Gen 2 isn't just a retooled version, it's a reintroduction. It comes with ambidextrous controls, optics-ready slides, aggressive front-rear serrations, and updated grip stippling that won't snag your clothes. In fact, the new grip texture was changed from checker to sandpaper-like stippling on all sides to give you better grip in rough conditions. One Reddit thread already shows local shops putting M Gen 2 units on sale for $385. People are watching, and reviewers have noticed the trigger pull feels more double action like, longer travel that stacks and then breaks clean. This isn't a variant you might consider, it's a full upgrade overhaul that's making people reevaluate what carry ready really means. Ready to see what number 7 is bringing? Most folks wrote this one off the second they heard Kel-Tec. Cheap, plastic, sketchy past, but then something weird happened. Guys who actually shot the P15 started coming back with a different story. A pistol that weighs barely over a pound and still carries 15+1? Yep, sounds like a gimmick, but it didn't jam, didn't break, and it felt like cheating in a holster. Slim, slick, like it wasn't even there. You can say what you want about Kel-Tec, but they just made the lightest double-stacked 9mm carry gun, and it actually works. The real shocker? Even hardcore Glock guys are testing this and walking away confused. You shouldn't like it, but you probably will. And next up, there's a pistol that outclasses this in a way that'll piss off both budget and premium gun owners. There's been a shift. Not loud, not advertised, but it's there. Holster makers started restocking molds for the Glock 48 MOS halfway through the year. Not because Glock made some announcement, but because demand came out of nowhere. People got tired of chasing gimmicks. Tiny guns with snappy recoil, double stacks with unreliable feeding, and suddenly, the Glock 48 MOS looked like the answer nobody saw coming. It's slim, it's 10+1, it mounts optics, it doesn't fight you in recoil, it disappears under a t-shirt, and unlike half the guns rushed out in 2025, it actually works all day, every day. Even more telling, gun shops started quietly pushing it over newer models. You wouldn't know unless you walked in and asked. They'd glance around, lower their voice, and say, "This is the one." Not the glitziest Glock, but the one that kept its head down, kept running, and suddenly became the solution to a problem the loud ones created. The next one, even older, even quieter, and somehow still not dead. You probably weren't expecting to see a Tisas here, and I wasn't either, but here's the reality. The Gen 3 version of the PX-9 has started slipping into the hands of first-time buyers, range shooters, and even some carry-focused folks, and they're not complaining. Turkish built, yes. Budget priced, absolutely. But the newer Gen 3, it's doing something sneaky, blending high-end feel with ultra-low expectations. You get a decent trigger, optics cut, upgraded slide cuts, ambi-controlled, and multiple back straps, all for what some companies are charging for just a slide. Is it a Glock killer? No. But is it punching way above its class in 2025? That's what makes this so surprising. And the fact that it's even making rounds in certain local PD trials in states like Florida and Oklahoma, that's no rumor, that's actually happening. Should you get it? That's where things get weird, because the next one on this list actually costs less and still managed to outsell the PX-9 by a mile. Now here's one I almost dismissed before I ever touched it. The Rock Island Armory STK100 doesn't come from Glock, SIG, or CZ. It's made by a company more known for budget 1911s, and yet somehow it shoots like a damn dream. I didn't believe it either. A friend dumped 500 rounds through his and told me I had to try it. The grip angle feels like a cross between a Glock and a 1911. Weird at first, but natural once you get used to it. What really caught me off guard was the all-metal aluminum frame. Most budget guns go polymer to save on cost, but this one gives you that extra heft and control. Recoil, almost gone. Accuracy, tight. Reliability, I tried to jam it, ran it dry, ran it dirty, but it just kept running. It's got some quirks, sure, like aftermarket support is limited and it doesn't have that brand cachet, but performance-wise, it punches way above its weight. And here's the kicker. This thing is often found under $450. So the real question is, if you're non-brand loyal and want a full-size 1911 that feels like a sleeper hit, should you trust a budget gun that feels this good? Or is there a catch we're all missing? You ever hold a gun and instantly know it's built different? That's what happened when I first grabbed the Echelon 4.0C. Springfield wasn't just trying to enter the striker-fired market, they were swinging for the throne. And this thing feels like a statement piece, not just a sidearm. First time I shot it at the range, I was stunned by the trigger. Not flashy, just perfectly tuned. Short reset, crisp break. But what really caught me off guard was how dead on it was, even during rapid fire. Like point, press, and then hole appears. No need to correct. The 4.0C isn't just a compact version, it's a refined evolution. Optics ready? Sure, but the real magic's in the modularity. The fire control group lifts out like a sick P320, but the rest feels tighter, more deliberate. Slide serrations are deep and aggressive, and the recoil system absorbs just enough without softening the feel. But here's the part that freaked me out. It handled better than my Glock 19 on drills. That's not hype, mind you. That's a problem for Glock. Now I'm stuck thinking, is the Echelon quietly becoming the new standard, or are we all just sleeping on it because of the logo? There was this guy I knew, carried every day, never skipped, swore by expensive metal guns until one day his $900 Compact jammed during a training course, not once, but a total of 3 times. Embarrassed, of course, but what he swapped to next is what shocked me. He walked in with a Shield Plus the next week, and I couldn't help but laugh. I just thought it was a downgrade, a plastic striker-fired thing with no flash, but by the end of the session, he'd put over 350 rounds through it without cleaning and brakes, and had never missed a beat. That's the kind of story that makes you reevaluate what budget really means. This thing doesn't just run, it delivers. That crisp trigger, clean reset, tight groups, all on a platform thinner than my phone and easier to conceal than most wallets. And the capacity? 13+1 with flush mags in a gun that disappears under a t-shirt. It's not just good for the money, it's better than guns twice the rate. So yep, sometimes the sleeper pick turns out to be the real world hero, and yet there's still one more gun left that could shut this one down cold. You would think that by now folks would be bored of the Glock 19. Same polymer frame, same damn slide. It's the Honda Civic of handguns. Dependable, yes, but exciting? Not a chance. That's honestly what I thought too, until a buddy of mine dumped $1,300 on a Gucci'd out Staccato C2 and came crawling back to the Glock after just 1 month. He said it plain to me. It never failed, but it never felt right. I missed my Glock. And this ain't some rookie shooter, mind you. This guy runs 5,000 plus rounds a year, trains weekly, and keeps logs. The man cried over grip textures. That's the shocker. In a sea of optics, all metal race guns, and duty grade hype trains, this basic Glock 19 still gets chosen, not just by average folks, but by the ones who know what they're doing. Police units still trust it, special units still recommend it, and gun stores still can't keep Gen 5 models on shelf for long. Everyone wants to move on, but nobody really can. It's boring, it's old, and it's still the one gun that doesn't just leave your arranged bag. You can try to replace it, but good luck with that. And don't even think of skipping now, because the real curveball is coming up next in the bonus pick. WTF? You didn't expect this one. Hell, I didn't even expect this one. But the PSA Dagger Compact, yes, that $299 Frankenstein clone of a Glock, has quietly become one of the most surprising carry guns of the year. First time I shot it, I was waiting for something to go wrong. I had to. Cheap gun, sketchy rep, polymer frame that looked like it came out of a cereal box, but round after round, it just kept working, and not only that, the damn thing felt better in the hand than some $700 striker-fired pistols I've tested. And here's where it gets dark. A guy in my local range told me straight-faced that he traded in his Glock 19 for a Dagger, pocketed the cash difference, and never looked back. That kind of talk would have gotten you laughed out of any forum 5 years ago, but here we are in 2025, and this bargain bin beast is running optics, upgraded barrels, night sights, threaded comps, and still costs less than a fancy dinner in Mumbai. Is it perfect? Hell no. But if you told me in 2025 that PSA would build the Glock clone people actually chose, I'd have slapped you. Yet here we are. And that, my friend, is why you watch till the end. The firearm world's changing faster than most shooters can reload. And if you blinked, you probably missed at least 3 handguns today that completely rewrote the rules. Don't be the guy that learns about these pistols after they double in price, or worse, after they disappear from shelves entirely. And at the end, there's still one handgun we left off this list that outperformed half the ones we just talked about. But it's not for the faint of heart or light wallets. Maybe we'll cover that one if this video makes enough noise. This is your boy Steve. Stay sharp now, and I'll see you on the next one.